hear from Coach Gill, and then we'll go ahead and take questions. Coach, whenever you're ready.
Well, we appreciate everybody coming out and to go back to last week's game, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that because it's over, but, I think that thought we played much better in the first half than we did the first game. The second half, I didn't think we performed as well, and after watching the film, I think a lot of it just had to do with haven't been in that situation that often, and I think we just weren't as intense as we need to be in the second half, and you can usually tell that by execution on offense and missed tackles on defense. So I just think it was a lack of intensity, and we need to learn when we do get up on somebody, we need to take care of business and not let things kind of hang out. So, but we'll continue to improve on that and move forward. And we have a big game coming up. They're all big, but this one's on the road, our first road trip, and playing TCU, a team that has been tremendously successful, over the last long time. And I think that Coach Patterson feels like they're going to be really, really good because they're healthy, and they weren't that way last year. And so they've got a great football team. We know that. We know what challenges are ahead of us, and we look forward to it. We'll see where we're at.
Coach, could you talk a little bit about Coach Patterson as far as each of you and each other's wedding parties, and can you talk a little bit about your feelings in playing against such a good friend Saturday?
Well, I wouldn't let him come to mine. No, I got married when I was 21, and my wife was 19, so I didn't even know Gary at that time. But it's like anything, just like you build a relationship. We built it through Coach Franchione. Coach coached me, and then Gary and him worked together, and that's how that bond started. And I was an offensive coordinator at the time. Well, I was a defensive coordinator actually, and he was on the defensive side of the ball, shared ideas. Then I went to offense, and then he became, I would tell you, I think most coaches in our profession, he's as good as defensive football coach there is in the country, and I think everybody knows that. And so we shared ideas, and just got to be friends through that, and stayed friends. And then when he got the head job at TCU, I was actually at Emporia State, and he'd offered me a job as offensive coordinator there, but I also had an opportunity to go to Southern Illinois, and through him and Coach Franchione's advice is if I wanted to be a head coach, he goes, you're not going to get any of those other jobs, so you better take one and turn it. And so that's what I did, and then we stayed in touch. Our staff's been sharing ideas. Coach Clay's been going there every year. And, we've been doing that for years. So that's it.
Coach, can you give an update on Mitch Leiter and the status of his knee? And
He'll practice today. He's a tough son of a gun. That's straight up. Everybody wants to know, oh, Coach, nope. That's straight up. I told you he was tough, and he's tough.
If you're worried at all, would you hold him out Saturday just for the long term of the season?
Well, I won't know that until the week goes. You got to see, how his progression. But he's going to practice today. And we certainly won't wear him out today. It wouldn't be very smart, and we'll give Chris Streveler a lot of reps. But and we've been doing that anyway because of nature of the game, which we have to do. And Jocks has had some reps too, but. He'll practice today. I'll tell you that we'll limit some of the things because I don't want to wear him out and be smart. But we'll see how it goes. I can't guarantee anything, but I can guarantee you that he's going to practice today, and that will help us determine some things. But he's tough. He's been on the phone with Jordan Lynch, so Jordan's pretty tough too. I don't know what they talk about, but evidently. Pretty good, so we'll see how it goes.
You anticipate he'll be ready to go, or is it still?
Don't know until we get him out. I can just tell you he's running and moving around. So he actually moved around on Sunday, so he's a tough cat.
Sure. If you have to go to Chris, what have you seen from him and just the way that he's developed, and what do you like to know?
He's done a good job. He's been redshirt. He's got four years left. He got an opportunity to play in both ball games, and he's done a good job. He's executed well. He can really run. He's got great speed, and he's developing as a quarterback. But it's not like having a junior or senior. He's still a freshman. But he's worked hard. He's been here all summer. He's worked with Mitch. So that's part of college football. You got to, biggest thing in this game, you got to stay healthy. You got to be lucky and stay healthy, and so hopefully, he hopefully he can play. But I can tell we'll have Chris ready if he needs to be, and if Mitch is not ready.
We hear a lot about TCU's defense, and they switched coordinators on offense. I mean, do you have a good read on them offensively right now, or you feel like you're still trying
No,
to...
I think we got we know who they hired, and so we know enough about who they hired, and from Houston and actually Texas Tech when we were playing in a bowl game. So you're gonna get Baylor speed of no huddle. So they're gonna snap it about every 15, 16 seconds. So it'll be a lot like I think that's what we got it down to. But they're gonna be with the bowl game. I think everybody's seen Texas Tech. It's gonna be like that, and because that's where all the ties tie in. So we got a pretty good idea. I mean, I know Gary well enough that he'll come out and do some things that he didn't show in the first game. It's a little bit different situation because they played in the first game, and then they've got an off week, and I promise you, he worked on us all spring. So I mean, I know how he does that with opponents and how he does preparation. That's what makes him so good. But he's been working on us for a long time, and that extra week doesn't help us, having 2 weeks to prepare.
Did you talk to him at all before he made that change, or just surprised you at all that he made such a radical change?
Is that I think that he, as far as, not a lot really, to tell you the truth, but I think a lot of it has to do with the conference, and what they're doing and what they're seeing defensively, and that allows them to work against each other. You know what I mean? It helps offense and the defense, and most of those teams are all spread, and so I think trying to prepare for just like us, our defense trying to prepare for the no huddle is not easy. If we were no huddle all the time on offense, you know what I mean? You could get prepared easier. So I think that has to do with it. And then they're athletes. I got athletes, and you can spread the field with the guys they got, and I think it fits their personality with what they're recruiting right now. So, but we haven't talked a ton about that. Since we're playing each other, we hadn't. We've more just talked out of friendship and give each other a hard time. So, but we haven't. As far as football stuff, we haven't talked a lot of football stuff because of the situation. But
going up against a team that's as good defensively on the road with them, especially having a bye week, do you feel like this is probably the toughest non-conference game you've had since USC in 2011?
Oh, there's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that. Plus, we're playing there, so I mean, there's twofold deal. But I know he's healthy. That's the whole thing. Last year they got all kinds of injuries and so forth, and they lost the great defensive end, but he felt like they had the best front four they've had in a long time, and he still got three of them standing there. So they didn't go. The other three didn't go anywhere. So there's no question about that.
Would you go with one offensive game plan that you would expect either quarterback to execute, or would you sort of have 1A and 1B depending on who plays?
No, we'll have the same game plan. They both can execute. So.
Here you play, 8 true freshmen?
Yeah.
What was typical for you all given you? What's typical for true freshmen?
Maybe 3 or 4. And right now we're in that spin because it's hard to explain, but the cycle of where we had empty classes caught up with us a little bit. So this is where, that big class of freshmen, and you got that separation. So that's what's happened. And but with injuries have hurt us there too. We've had some injuries and had to do that because we're playing most of them on defense right now, and we're playing one on offense, and 3 or 4. We're kind of seeing what happens. So hopefully that we're done playing a freshman, but I can see us with 1 or 2 more possibly.
Is there something you can do in TCU to prepare the guys for the weather a little bit more? Guys were cramping up.
Not going to talk about it. I mean, the more you talk about something, it's like fumbling football. The more you talk about fumbling, the more they fumble it. So I mean, I think we've been preparing for all that situation. since long. And most of it's nutrition, how much water you take in, things of that nature. And you know, with a couple kids that happened to on Saturday, you know, you look into that, and I won't say all say that sometimes they don't eat as properly and take as much water in and so forth. So when it's the temperature it was on Saturday and you cramp, there's more to it than, you know. But at the same time, when you know, I grew up in that area and so forth, so you just got to take care of it. I know Ed had mentioned that the Gophers went down to Miami when he was a trainer and didn't have a lot of trouble, you know, with some of the preparation they did before. So I just told him we don't need no LeBron James deal. I mean, we need to drink pickle juice the whole time. We better start drinking pickle juice, but we'll see. You know, and you can't control the weather and all those kind of things. You can control how you play, and you know, we got to do a good job in who we're traveling and special teams and things of that nature. And we got to have some guys step up to take some plays off some people that are starting. So.
With Nick Rawls' injury, where's your comfort level right now with the second line at linebacker?
Well, Nick's, you know, and I guess, you know, Nick's out. I think everybody that probably leaks out, but he's done for the season. And tough thing is he worked so hard and has really played well. And so it's just, again, I mean, you can't afford to lose depth. So we pull the red shirt off Everett, and he's got to step up. I mean, that's really, you know, all you do. But it's certainly he could play all three spots. That's what made him special. I feel bad for him. He's worked so hard and so forth, and you don't want to see that happen to kids. But unfortunately, in this game, it happens.
Is it a knee injury, on Rawls?
So yeah. No, I'm not. I mean, it's a knee injury.
We have time for one or two more questions.
Do you have a reaction to Penn State's bowl ban being lifted?
I didn't pay. You know, I really hadn't thought about it, to be honest with you. I've been too busy, caught up. So I mean, I walked by yesterday and went down to the training room, and I see they took it off. So, I mean, I think they, you know, what's happened through them the last 2 or 3 years, and you know, what's ever best for. I always go back, what's ever best for the players and what's fair and all that kind of stuff. And I'll let people that handle that. I don't know that much about it, but I'm not going to complain and moan and groan, all that kind of stuff. I mean, they certainly got punished, and it's not as long as it was, but, you know, sometimes you have those things happen, and it's not the kids that were, you know what I mean? Some of that stuff's out of their control, so.
We have one more question? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Coach,